What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio in Matawan, New Jersey. Sturge Gooch, producer Dina, the Pick Bish Simpson in the house as well. We hope everybody is doing well. We hope everybody is enjoyed their weekend. I, for one, had a nice little relaxing weekend. I also kicked the shit out of my picks. I went 10-4-1, bro. I don't think I've had a 10-win week in a long time, and I said it on the show last week.
What took you so long, buddy?
I know. I've been.
I only got 9.
I'm just letting you know that I'm feeling myself right now as far as my picks are concerned. But we'll get into all that. First and foremost, I know what you're probably thinking. Dave and Chris called each other this morning saying, "Hey, let's wear our Union High School hats." First and foremost, good luck to Coach. Coach Lou Grasso is actually heading out to San Antonio, Texas today, as a matter of fact, today or tomorrow. He's heading out for the
All-American. The third?
It's the third today, right?
Third
yeah,
to the
it's
8th,
today.
I think.
The All-American Bowl, which he's going to go out for. He's on the coaching staff. So in lieu of that, we're supporting. Truth be told, I thought for sure you were going to wear your Packers hat. You clinched the 1 seed. You would be walking around here with your, your normal cocky self.
I do have, I'm G'd up underneath here.
Okay.
But yeah, we're rocking the U today.
We are
in support of Coach Grasso, which is not the actual reason why we did this, but we thought it would be a good idea to at least act like it.
And truth be told, I wasn't about to wear any Cowboy stuff today. I'm so friggin' mad right now. I wasn't gonna wear any Cowboy stuff. I told myself I wasn't gonna do it, so I said, you know what? I haven't worn the U yet, so let me
You've
go out
tried.
there.
We've actually almost done this once before, but
from a home broadcast.
From home, and you changed.
I did change. I went to my Cowboys roots and I stuck with that. But anyway, good luck to Coach Lou Grasso, and of course, shout out to the entire Grasso family, big members of Chop Sports. So we appreciate you guys. Friday show, bro, banger. I know everybody makes fun of me for saying banger, but that's what it was. It was an absolute banger, and it's our first video on our YouTube channel that has hit over 1,000 views. So thank you guys for watching, tuning in to Lean Fridays with Kyle Kerms. He might or might not have something to do with that. I don't know. Maybe we just hit. Everybody wants to hear from us, and then it just so happens that
it was
Kyle
a good thing that we both did well. We had a good showing on the biggest episode, and thank you to Kyle, obviously, because it really is all Kyle. He's not all Kyle.
He waves his wand and he says,
but Kyle has the power of the people.
Yeah, and I appreciate Kyle for bringing in his minions for the Lean Fridays and also the college picks, bro. I mean, first, before we get into that, I do want to push and thank the Patreon members, man. That's awesome. You guys are really kicking ass with that. 25 members now. Actually, there's more than that because of we had my buddy Jay Condrick hit me up, said, look, I have 87 million subscriptions. I can't have any more subscriptions. He's like, how can I help without doing that? We arranged it. So thank you to him. Thank you to everybody. You guys are making this a really, really cool idea come to life, and it helps, man. So if you guys are on Patreon, go to patreon.com/Chop Sports. You can help us out. Starts as low as $3. That basically shows that you're into us and you want to see us succeed and you want to help out. I know a couple of my people, I shouted out everybody last week, but a good long-term friend, Becky, who came on last week, she also worked with me at one of my first jobs at United Skates of America. So that we started in the kitchen together. I was a cook. She was a register girl. She was one of the front desk people, right? And then I got promoted to drive the Zamboni for 5 years. Truth story, folks. I was a Zamboni driver for 5 years. And if it's the coolest job on earth. Come on. Hit me with it.
Do I even need to do this right now for crying out loud, Dave? Because you're doing it right now. You opened up a can of worms here on this one. I think Dave let his mouth write a check his ass can't cash with the whole dad joke that he made about me last week. Because now I'm on the prowl.
Yeah. Well, now you're going to just pick them all out. Danny's chiming in. Good morning to my broski. Shitty loss yesterday with the Cowboys, but his coffee tastes better in his brand new Chop Sports mug that I gave it to him yesterday for Christmas. And I said, here, buddy. And of course, right away, I'm like, hey, this is for you and your wife. And he's like, oh, I thought we weren't doing gifts. And I was like, this one's on the house. This is some Chop Sports merch. Don't worry about it.
Also, where's my gift? You'd be like
right.
Oh, he said that,
right?
Come on, bro.
No, seriously, let's do it.
So Dave, when you getting your gift from Danny?
Probably the gift that just keeps on giving.
Did he give you a gift of an ass whooping yesterday in fantasy football?
That is the gift that he gave me. And look, I know he is so crazy with this stuff. Like, he's up by like 60 right now or something right there. Like, I have Deontay Johnson. He still
feels like he's going to
lose.
Oh,
yeah. I have Deontay Johnson. He has Frail Marble Mouth. And he's got it in the bag. You can
start spending that money, Dan.
Yes.
Over.
I mean, well, yeah, exactly. He won the championship. He's the champion. I don't want to hear another word. 41 points. Right? He's coming in now. He's like,
so quick question. How many points did Jamar Chase have yesterday?
43.
So Deontay Johnson needs to do what Jamar Chase did, and Freiermuth needs to do nothing.
Right.
You win.
Exactly. It's over. It's a wrap. I concede. If there's a quit button, I want to quit because I'm done. This was, you said it originally. When I told you my team, you said that's detrimental to have all the Cowboys. I got to the finals with that lineup.
And I did say it's just going to burn you. It could be good all year. You'll probably win more than you will lose with having a bunch of Cowboys, even though down the stretch.
I went 8. What was my record? 8-6. And then I won my playoff game. So then,
it's just tough in one matchup when you get.
Yeah.
Not that they got shut down, but for the better part of the first half, they did.
Well, Zeke had 14 yards. The Cowboys defense let up a bunch of touchdowns. We'll get into it because that's where we're at. So, Danny, congratulations.
Before we leave fantasy football, I do at least want to give a shout out to Ben Wexler for texting me at like 5:10. It was like the halftime of the 4:00 games, not even. And he's like, "Oh, I got it in the bag." He's like, "Just take."
Really? He was doing that. He was like counting his money already. Like,
well, I think it was. I think he has Chase as well.
Okay.
So
anybody who had Chase yesterday,
Jamar Chase yesterday for the 1 o'clocks kind of realized, it's going to be tough for them to come back on me. And he was texting me at 5:40 or 5:30 for his winnings already. But he did donate $50 to the Chop Sports Patreon, so we could add that. To our
good job,
list.
Ben. Appreciate you,
thank
buddy.
You, Ben. But also, I'll text you this week.
Yeah, totally.
No, I got
at some point. But speaking of fantasy football championships, I have to say, congratulations to both Scoop Espo and Joe LaCorey. Those are the two guys, winner of NFC, winner of AFC. You guys are now competing to have the most overall points this week. And I believe Scoop is down about 20 with Deontay Johnson left. So that's going to come down to the wire to see who the first ever and only ever 32-man league, because that's just, I can't do it anymore. Remember, it was 16-team leagues. So it wasn't like there was 32 teams. There was 2 AFC, NFC, those are the high scores. Those are the conference championships. We got a lot of money in the divvy out this week. It's good
when you genuinely like the people that you're about to have to pay out.
Yes.
I genuinely like Scoop.
I genuinely like the fact that we might not have to pay him out.
No, we're paying you guys.
We're paying him out.
But no, it's going to feel good to give those two some money because Scoop has been with us since day one, and same with Joe, really.
Yeah, no, those guys are great, and so good luck to those guys. Cousin Vinny came in there before saying he rolled with Dak, Zeke, and CD, and it was the most hit or miss of his life. Like, so yeah, doing that all year round, not ideal. But again, I won't do it again. My heart went above my fantasy guru status. I was like, oh, look at these Cowboys available. You know what I mean? And I just kept taking them.
Don't let your fanhood affect your fantasy acumen.
Yes, because that's
the quote.
Completely blew it. So anyway, back to Patreon. Thank you guys so much for that. And then, so please, again, if you want to support Chop Sports, there's ways to do it. Patreon.com/Chop Sports. Now, on Lean Fridays, we did make 2 picks over here. And now the national title game is set between the Georgia Bulldogs and, of course, the Alabama Crimson Tide. You faded the sauce live here on the show. You said Cincinnati had no business being in that game. And that's kind of what happened.
I don't think that they had no business in the game. They deserve to be in the game. All the people out there saying that this is what you get when you put a team that doesn't deserve to be there. No, Cincinnati did what they needed to do, and it showed that they weren't as good as Alabama. But honestly, if Ohio State played in that game, I think you would have saw the same thing. Nobody's as good as Alabama, and we're going to get to see that in a couple weeks. I'm not going to make any picks yet, but I did say that I think Alabama wins everything by a combined 50 points.
Does that hurt the Power 5 thing? Like if you're not a Power 5 school, that you're not like this. They let Cincinnati in this game opposed to Ohio State or bigger schools.
Well, I don't think that they let anybody in. Ohio State had a chance to get in.
What I'm saying is
fucked up.
They voted them in. Is this going to hurt their chances going forward to get those kinds of schools in this college football playoff based off the showing that they had?
I don't think that it should hurt or help. I think that each season should be looked at in a vacuum, and you can't base what's going to happen with the 2024 team that might be in that position based on what happened with the 2021 Cincinnati Bearcats. It's just not right. They earned the spot. They 100% earned the spot. Anybody that has any ill will or bitter feelings towards it is typically a fan of a team that they felt like maybe should have gotten a spot, or an Ohio State fan. But you guess what? The snow affected you and you lost. Not only did you lose, you got the shit beat out of you by Michigan. you didn't deserve it. It's simple as that. And really what it comes down to is the two best teams are playing for the championship anyway.
Speaking of Michigan, my God, bro. Jim Harbaugh is got himself a stigma all of a sudden that he can't also win these big games. Like this is not the first time he's blown something big like this. Pause. Perfection on a Monday morning. So anyway, not the first time this has happened to Jim Harbaugh. The Michigan Wolverines get ran out of town. Shout out to our boy Mike Salerno, host of the Squeaky Bum Time Soccer Podcast. He was in attendance for that shellacking. So I feel bad, but also kind of cool. Thank you, Carl. Just completed his Dynasty Patreon subscription. That's awesome. Thank you very much for that. So Michigan gets started.
I have no idea which Carl that is.
I mean, there's so many Carls.
Maybe my nephew.
There you go. There you go. Is there well, another?
His last name is not Gucci, so.
Oh, okay. Well, then he doesn't count in life. So I'm kidding. Shout out to your nephew. He wakes up like, yo, those fighting words, bro. So anyway, national title game set. Before I go into anything else, Notre Dame, right? I have to touch on this because, people are always barking at me that we don't talk enough college football. And by the way, shout out to our boy Matt. That episode did really well as far as his college analysis and breakdown. It actually filled my head with some actual knowledge.
I used all of that on the Friday episode when we talked about these games. I'm just going to call it like it is.
Yeah, stole that right from him.
Having Matt in my hip pocket actually helped me for Friday's episode. I was going to pick Bama anyway, but just the talking points were there largely in part because of Matt.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I got it. It's Monday, guys. Bear with me.
Carl says Dad would never know how to fill out a Patreon subscription.
Good point.
So it's definitely your brother. So thank you for Carl. You're the man.
I'm just surprised to see.
Carl, by the way, sorry,
his name and not some version of like his old tag, like Chiba 535 or something to indicate that he smokes weed.
What was your first screen name ever? You don't remember?
Mr. Packer something, Lambo Leaper.
Mine was
like all Packer
Dion
something.
2198. In 1998, I started the account, so I was Dion 2198. I'll never forget it. And then there's just Bobby Carl. Baby Carl is the GOAT, of course.
I'm not allowed to call him Baby Carl in public, but he's always going to be Baby Carl.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, Notre Dame guy makes his coaching debut. Has this massive lead, and he's doing work. He's taking care of business. And all of a sudden, just the wheels fall off of Notre Dame. They blow the entire game, and now he lost. Notre Dame, I'm here to say that Urban Meyer is still available. If you're having buyer's remorse on this kid, Urban Meyer still out there. He's a piece of garbage, but he's probably a good college coach to have.
I don't want to cut you off.
Obviously.
I don't want to cut you off on your Notre Dame thing, but as you asked the question about the first aim screen name, we're getting some funny ones in here just from AJ, Titty Boy 42. You can't beat it. I think AJ is going to win this one. We got All-Star Chick 1018.
Which is her burner account, by the way.
That's still her burner. Yeah. It's called a Finsta. It's a Instagram. It's like your Rinsta is your real Instagram. Your Finsta is your fake Instagram that you keep from, you don't put all your bad shit on.
I'm just looking
Rinsta.
at we're looking at each other like, no way. Like that's a thing.
It is. Yeah.
Like people are actually going public with their burner accounts is what you're saying. That's Carl, Boston sucks 016. Aim. Sick. What was it? What Scoop say? Scoop came in here.
Nashid Cert. I think he's the bot. Scoop, you're the bot today. What the fuck was that, bro?
Back in the Poland Spring. I don't know what the hell that means. 2 Chainz was a large influence on Titty Boy over there. So anyway, that's a funny little segment there.
Yeah, so Notre Dame's coach sucks. Urban Meyer should probably be their coach. Like we all
obviously, I'm kidding. It's one game.
Give the guy a break.
But that's a big lead to blow. And hopefully, going forward, he rights the ship because Notre Dame, their fans are very similar to Cowboys fans, I think, in regards to, and I know Pat Kenny's going to rip me for this because
Yankee fan.
Don't you ever compare us again? But like the
and Laker fans,
this is our year type mentality.
Matt Dolly. So you're saying Notre Dame, Yankees, Lakers.
Matt Dolly. Shout out
Cowboys.
Matt Dolly. Yeah, I mean that guy likes all the good teams, right?
Well,
I'm saying all the notoriety teams.
Yeah. He likes
all the Lake Show.
The one that you're like, oh, you're a Laker fan. Oh, I get it.
Did you by any chance catch the trailer for that new Lakers show coming out on HBO Max?
I did not, but
it looks all incredible.
Is it Shaq?
No, it's no. This is the where the Lakers started with Pat Riley and stuff.
All right.
Somebody's playing Magic Johnson. Somebody's playing or the owner. John C. Riley, bro, is playing the Lakers owner, dude. It looks incredible. I cannot wait to watch that series. And I'm not even a Lakers guy. I actually don't like the Lakers at all. But I think the actual documentary, not even documentary, it's going to be a mini series. It's like a series. So excited.
I'm interested. Yeah, give me all the sports docu-series / but it really matters of the actors that they get to play it. Is it going to be good?
They're like introducing whoever this guy is playing, Magic Johnson, like this is his first role. Like his first big role.
We'll see.
So
we'll see.
It'll be interesting.
Go either way. They're going off about this AIM thing in the comments, by the way.
Leaving a dope away message. It was the play, bro. And if you left, what is that? Always left music lyrics to make the female populace think it was about them.
You slippery devil.
Seriously, dude, not out of the realistic possibility. That was a thing, dude. That you would leave these like these deep, like just thoughtful messages, and then all of your AIM chicks would be like, oh my God, he's talking about me. I know it, right? But meanwhile, you're doing nothing other than taking a dump, and you put the away message on, and that's why you did it.
Dave's taking big dumps.
Not me in particular. What's
your away message going to be when we'll save this joke for later because I have a good one.
Please save your.
I know we're, you know what? Enough about this national title game. Enough about AIM. Can we please talk about what we all came to talk about today?
Here we go. And what's that, Gooch?
You know what it is. The record-breaking NFC. I'm not going to call them the NFC champions because we know we got some work to do yet. But
no,
baby.
Me and Dina were talking before, and you got them in the Super Bowl playing the Bengals.
Bro, if you would have talked to me in July, I had them in the Super Bowl, but I don't think they're going to be playing the Bengals. At least I don't want to play the Bengals out of all the teams.
I know it's great. Gooch is on a path right now where he thinks A, they're going to moonwalk into the Super Bowl, and B, now he wants to pick his opponent. So this is where Gooch is at.
I want to play the Chiefs. Morning.
Go play whoever you want, man. Get there first.
I would love that matchup back with Aaron Rodgers this time.
Anyway, so this game in particular, last night, complete starch job. It was not even close ever. I bet the Packers first half. I bet the Packers overall. That spread did not scare me. I knew that the Vikings were not going to show out. It was like 8 degrees. Like there was a recipe for the Packers to just pound on the Vikings the entire time, and that's what happened. And then you're there. You're number 1 seed. That's it, man.
Shout out to Chris Collinsworth. There was one play.
There's a guy.
It was after the Vikings' first offensive play, and Mannion rolled left and threw the ball behind Conklin, about a yard behind him and low. And he's like, "Well, he answered the question." Fast forward about 2 hours later, they brought in Kellen Mond,
who, by the way, looks like he didn't want to be
there. Did you see
all.
Zimmer? Shout out to Mike Zimmer's face.
Oh, he looked like Coughlin from that one game.
Shaking. Dude. He couldn't maintain. But they asked him a question about going into week 18. Do you think you want to see Kellen Mond? He was like, not particularly. I see him every week in practice. So Kellen Mond isn't in good favor with Zimmer, but I do think it's a possibility that it's going to be Mike Zimmer's last game as the Minnesota Viking head coach.
They have missed the playoffs now 3 out of the last 4 years.
3 out of 4 years, and
that's alarming.
We're not going to talk much about the Vikings,
they gave him an extra
but
spot.
I will say this as a little burn. It is kind of fitting that we gave the Vikings the best under 500 team in NFL history.
Banner.
The banner is already hung. They already hung it 4 weeks ago when they won the Super Bowl at home in week 11 against Green Bay. We gave them their Super Bowl win this year, but then we also effectively ended their season in the same season. So
pretty impressive.
Shout out to the Vikings fans for falling off a cliff yesterday after that game, because I heard a lot from you all week. I haven't heard anything since. But Aaron Rodgers is the clear-cut MVP. I don't think he has to play next week to do anything to get
You're
it.
a Packer guy, obviously. You playing next week? Any of your starters? Anybody playing? I mean, nothing means anything, but that's a 2-week bye of not playing football.
This is a loaded question. Now, if Aaron Rodgers' toe is even a shred, not 100%, he's got to sit. Devontae, he's got to sit.
Shout out to Devontae again. Dude, come on, bro.
There's a few of these guys.
Nobody actually figured this out.
Aaron Jones got to sit. But if there's some of these other guys,
AJ Dillon is a freaking man possessed, bro.
Yeah.
That guy is.
But at the same time, I feel like he's the guy that could kind of weather the storm. He's the bruising back. I would leave AJ Dillon there because you're not going to go with Patrick, whatever the guy.
He had some bursts too.
Yeah, but at that point, the Vikings, it was like 8 degrees and the Vikings were down 30. They're like, I'm not trying to tackle anybody anymore. But the Packers, I think that they should go into this game with maybe giving Bakhtiari a couple reps, Zadarius Smith a couple reps, Jair, who probably would have played if he didn't get put on the COVID reserve list yesterday. They were on the fence. He was going to be a game time decision, but then he had some situation with COVID, so he was out regardless. I think that they should give those guys some reps, but any guy that's dealing with anything whatsoever, no, they should not play. I don't care.
2 weeks is a long time to kind of wait around. It's technically 3 weeks if you think about it, because going into this week, they're not going to, they'll practice, but no play, right? And then the following week, they'll practice, no play. Then they got to wait another week.
Well,
and then,
they do at least have a game. So they get to go through the motions. They get to go travel. It's not like it's a bye week. A bye week is different. It's not midseason. This is the playoffs. They're going to be practicing every day. They're not going to, they might give them an extra day after the Detroit game to like go celebrate what you did. But it's going to be right back to business. We're going to have a nice 11, 12 days. Rodgers should be fully healthy by then. He was saying yesterday that he's close to 100%.
Did you see, are you at all worried about the stat that they showed last night that when they're the number 1 overall seed, they're not like the best, like they're not the best playoff team.
Yeah.
When they are the number 1 seed, which is nuts, because now obviously they might have said it 17 times on the broadcast last night that the Super Bowl runs through Lambeau, right? And everybody's like, oh, Lambeau Field. Like, let's also pump the brakes on the whole home field advantage. The Browns had them on the ropes in Lambeau, so don't.
Yeah, but they are 8-0 at home this year.
Correct. And what I'm saying, they're beatable.
And they had the Browns had them on the ropes, as you would say. They had them on the ropes. I don't know if you could call it that. The Packers controlled that game through and through. There was a hiccup at the end, so yes, I guess you could say they were on the ropes. But factoring in even the Browns game, the Packers have a margin of victory by more than 14 points this season at home. That's pretty impressive through 8 games. I don't want to go into Lambeau if I'm any of those teams. I know that there is teams that you could say stylistically might match up a little bit better at Lambeau, but guess what? The Vikings were one of them. They had like 30 yards yesterday. I know that Kirk Cousins didn't play, but I'm very confident. I'm very happy that we get the bye week. Obviously, rest up. The coach is great. The quarterback is great. As far as I see it, those are the 2 most important factors. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be ready to go, whether he's off 6 months or if he's off 6 weeks or if he's off 1 week, he's going to be fine. So, yeah, give me all the rest. Give me all the healing up and more time to practice for whatever team we're going to beat the piss out of in the first round. Or second round.
Okay. Well, anyway, a team that you might see in the second round of the playoffs are my beloved Dallas Cowboys, who dropped to the Cardinals 25-22 last night. First and foremost, I was finally glad to finally watch a game with my dad and my brother. Because that was a long time coming. I feel like it's been a month since I watched the game with those guys. But anyway, overall, Dak Prescott didn't answer the call again. Played piss poor football, bad decision making. Yes, he kind of redeemed himself a little bit with some comeback efforts into the end of the night. The problem I have now with this game in particular is what was said after the game, and that's DeMarcus Lawrence, Leighton Vander Esch, CeeDee Lamb, even Coach McCarthy. They're all blaming the refs, and I understand that last play. And the more I looked at it at the end of the night, like, because when I saw it, I did a podcast after that. Like, I was completely not forgetting about the play, but not giving it as much burn as I probably should have. The NFL needs to do a thing now where they call the necessary, like, if there is the ball out, if the ball hits the ground at any point, throw your blue little beanbag and review it, right? Because if you can't, like, what I did right away was I blamed McCarthy because you have no timeouts, so you can't challenge, right? So I'm already irate that we have no timeouts left. Then it's above 2 minutes. So I know the booth isn't going to take it, right? But in a game like this, where there's so much on the line, right? That's a call you can't miss.
Can I ask you something about the timeouts? Was there one that they burned that they shouldn't have?
There was one that they had to listen to this, though. Ready for this? There was one timeout that they had to burn because the referee said run the clock when the Cardinals guy was clearly out of bounds. The clock should have stopped, and they kept running it anyway. Dallas had to burn a timeout. That timeout could have been used for a review.
It's like you can't blame McCarthy, and you're going to never really hear me say this. You can't blame McCarthy if the timeouts were used what I'm saying. As they should have been. It's like it's one thing if he made a bad challenge, and you're like, dude, we don't have challenges. You shouldn't have challenged that one. Something like that, then which I experienced multiple times with Mike McCarthy, I will add.
No, but I will say this: like, the NFL has to get that right the first time. There's been too many times, and I said this to a lot of my colleagues with the Cowboys. Talking within the circles there, I said, look, this happens all the time. Like, referees blow calls all the time, and things should have been reviewed all the time. But you can't harp on that.
We got Scoop coming in and saying that the right knee was down.
Which right knee? What play is he even talking about?
I have no idea because I didn't see the replay in depth.
If he's talking about the fumble, he's wrong.
But like Scoop is also the one that came in and said yesterday, it's a tough thing to do in real time where the ref was standing 100%, but they should just call it a fumble on the field. So which honestly, what you're saying is that the NFL should be doing that. They've been trying to do that. That's been a thing where in the competition committee in the offseason will always say, look, they need to start just calling it a fumble and let it be sorted out upstairs, which it should be. But sometimes the refs just don't get it, man.
And Danny also came in. Very good point. Dallas wasted a timeout. So at one point, they rushed Prater onto the field, but Murray was still on the field. And all of a sudden, they rushed Prater off. Dallas was all sorts of confused, burned a timeout. That literally was and shout out to Kingsbury because I think that was a play. I think Kingsbury actually went out there and said, you know what? Let's confuse the shit out of them right now. They're going to burn one of their timeouts. And they did. So shout out to the coaching on that. And that's strategy. That's the gamesmanship. That makes sense to me. I can't hate that. I can't hate that at all. Vinny, don't call it down and work backwards. Call it a fumble. Yes, exactly. If you see the ball on the turf and a clear recovery, if some Dallas guy gets up and raises his hand and says, I have the ball, then you got to make that, you got to make that move. You got to be like, oh, how do you get the ball? And I know there's a lot of times where the guys are down clearly and you'll rip the ball out just because they're pissed off or whatever. But this was clearly a play that they should have had.
That happened
and it's a clear recovery.
It didn't matter. It didn't affect the game, but I did take the Titans yesterday. I was watching a lot of that game, and it happened in that game as well where the Titans fumbled, and it was a clear fumble. The Dolphins are standing outside the pile with the ball. And they were like, no, it was a clear. I'm like, wait, what? What are you looking at?
Right.
The refs just,
you got to get that right.
Up, man.
And there was a lot of calls last night that I understand Cowboys fans are frustrated right now. And there's a lot of calls holding on DeMarcus Lawrence. And then there was one time, the delay of game, all zeros across the board. A delay of game was not called. And then DeMarcus Lawrence stepped over the line because he saw a delay of game and called him offsides. So it's like there was so many things that didn't go our way. But in retrospect, when you look at this as a whole, 25 points in the NFL, if you give up 25 and you're as confident as you are going into that game about your offense, you should win that game. You should win that game. That's 25 points is not a lot. If you gave up 30 plus, then I'd say, all right, you know what? Then you probably got outdueled. But 25 points plus all their field goals they hit, we dropped an interception. There's a lot that goes into this game that the Cowboys fans can't sit there and say, ref. Curse dropped a pick in the end zone. It's just, there was a lot of things like Dak fumbled. You know what I mean? Dak fumbled, turned the ball over himself. So
I don't know if I agree with this in full.
I
get what he's saying. You can't have them always assuming the fumble. You have to have them ref the game straight up. To a degree, he's making sense. But they basically say you don't want them to make judgment calls, but yet they're giving them new rules, which are just judgment calls in general. It's like taunting and, a lot of these things are judgment calls as it is. So you don't want them to make them. Then why implement new rules?
I agree. But anyway, the Cowboys got something in my throat. The Cowboys, and it's probably the Cowboys. The Cowboys lost this game. And of course, the NFL does a great thing and puts them on Saturday night, which is complete garbage. And I know why they did it. I was talking to Gooch and Pre about why the Cowboys reflects Saturday night. If the Cowboys would have stayed in their normal slot, they would have known the outcomes of the other teams originally ahead of them. So right now, the Cowboys actually still can get to the 2. They can, but a lot of things have to happen. Tampa lose, this guy lose, blah, blah, blah. Paul, yeah, thanks, Nick. So the Tampa lose, everybody would have to lose, and the Cowboys have to win. So if the Cowboys knew the results already, they would rest their starters. Cooper Rush would be quarterbacking, blah, blah, blah. But because you put them on Saturday night, you got to play everybody.
Oh, God. You're actually lucky because you know what happens in those situations? Mike McCarthy just doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know whether he has no conviction. So he doesn't know if he should do it. You're lucky because if you were in that spot and it was like, Mike McCarthy, you're allowed to rest guys. Should you or shouldn't you? He would be like, I have no idea. Someone tell me exactly what I should do right now. And regardless, he would fuck it up.
Analytics. So, man, my brother's being confident here. He says they'll make it up for it when the Cowboys see the Cardinals again, which is definitely a possibility. And I think we stack up well. However, in that game, then the next time we meet the Cardinals, they're going to have Connor, they're going to have Hopkins, they're going to have DJ Humphries, they're going to have their guys. So they're going to be at full health. So I don't know if I don't know how excited I would be to meet them again. But then again, every team at this point, I don't want to see any of these teams. So technically, if there was a way we can just get to the divisional round and play Green Bay in Green Bay, I'm rooting for that game. We can't even, even though the NBC broadcast put the Cowboys in Green Bay already, by the way. They're like, oh, the Cowboys will be the 4, and then they're going to win their game, and they're going to be right back here in Green Bay. And I'm just like, okay, first of all, can we get to the playoffs first? Can we win a playoff game first? Oh, my God. I can't miss. Oh, it's just Collinsworth sucks. Anyway.
I'll be there waiting.
Yeah, I know you'll be there waiting. So anyway, let's move on. Yeah, this is an embarrassment, but there's more to this than just seeing a 29-3 score, right? The Bears beat the shit out of the Giants. The Giants are clearly the worst team, maybe one of the worst teams in football at this point. But the reason why I even spend more than 10 seconds on this game is because of how fraudulent and how fake and how phony Joe Judge is as a coach. He's sitting in there in the post-game press conference saying that this team has not quit. I got news for you, Joe. I got news for you. This team quit long time ago.
And they definitely weren't going in there to play in like 3-degree weather in Chicago yesterday.
They wanted in and out of there real quick. They wanted nothing to do with this game. They knew it would not hurt their stock at all by losing or winning because, again, they got the Chicago first-round pick. But they went out there and said, let's just put out 60 minutes of football and let's get back on the bus and get home. Because this team has quit on Joe Judge. I don't want to hear it. Joe Judge went out there and said, oh, but wait a minute. There was a time, I know this feeling all too well, he said. There was a time in 2018 where my team and I felt like I was going to get fired and we weren't going to quit. It was midway through the 2018 season. And I heard on the radio coming in, the Patriots are 6-2 at that point and they weren't getting fired.
Bro, when a team isn't doing well, nobody's like, you know what? Oh, they're 3-5 right now. We should probably fire the special teams coach. Nobody, your job was never at risk in the middle of any season when you're a special teams coach.
Danny said the same thing. He said, there's also guys, he said, there's guys out there that used to play for me that have called me and said they want to play for me again. No, they don't. No, they don't.
Well, maybe who were you talking about? Special teams players?
Right,
like,
what I'm saying.
Guys that didn't start?
Oh, I had a gunner who's really good at tackling guys on the punt coverage.
If anything, the gunners are the guys that you might see play once in a while. But you get what I'm saying. Like, come on, Joe Judge, settle down.
Oh, there was some history, actually. Fun fact, Robert Quinn broke the Bears single-season record. Oh, no. This is right. He broke the Rams single-season sack record by sacking Glennon 8 years ago and did it again by sacking Glennon again. That's impressive. Robert Quinn deserves the bag that he got. We lost him. The Cowboys had him.
All I think about when I hear Robert Quinn is Aaron Rodgers going off after him doing the belt in 2 consecutive games. Stop it with that, Quinn.
Well,
when are you going to learn, bud?
He's obviously not going to learn. But, yeah, there's better people out there for this job. I think that obviously that's the better move would be to just wipe them all out, keep it all done, just get rid of everybody on staff, get rid of Daniel Jones, get rid of Saquon Barkley, get rid of all of them, blow this team up and rebuild. Because right now there is not a winning culture in New York. Not at all. Like it's just bad. And I'm not just saying this to like puff my own chest out because I'm mad about the Cowboys losing. I feel bad for my Giant fan friends. They got to deal with this shit every year.
I have no remorse. I do not care about any fanhood of any other team. I've had enough of heartache. When you're good, the Giants fans, they all get it now. Their team sucks. They're already looking at April. So this is nothing to me. If anything, the only thing that could happen is they could play bad enough as to where they go back on that bullshit they said a couple weeks ago that they were going to bring back Joe Judge. You want to bring back Danny Dimes and give him a shot with a new regime, fine, but it can't be Joe Judge. And I was actually on the other side of this in the beginning of the year. I thought Joe Judge had some potential.
Remember, he was cursing.
It's over
in training camp.
It is.
And everybody's like, "Oh,
you can't
beat
Tom Coughlin unless you sneak a Super Bowl in there." That's it.
You know what I
mean?
True.
Like, you can't be that guy if you're going out there winning 5 games. These guys are making a lot of money. They got kids. You know, like you can't be like go run a lap. It's like, wait, what are you talking about, dude? I got to go pick up my son. You know, like you're paying me a ton of money to be here. You know, like I'm not running a lap.
Yeah, go run a lap. Like, all right, first of all, this isn't gym class, Joe. So look, I think the whole thing's a mess, and I think he needs to go. That's it. Whatever. There's another team in New York had themselves a day yesterday. Now I went on record and I put out a tweet yesterday that you eat so much. Oh, yeah, I guess Carl coming in saying you eat so much shit as a Cowboys fan, let the Giants fans rot. Listen, I'm just trying to play it impartial, trying to play right down the middle. But anyway, back to the Jets. So I put out a tweet yesterday and I said the Jets are an embarrassment, okay? That tweet got twisted with a bunch of my Jet fan friends, right? They're like, oh, that's the last thing. They played hard, blah, blah, blah. The embarrassment part was the 4th down call by Robert Saleh. You kick that field goal and you go up 7 on the greatest quarterback of all time. Okay. You go up 7 points and make that guy tie you. And then if they want to go for 2 and for the win, you have that opportunity to win the game there. You do not go for it on 4th down and 2. Okay. You don't do that. And you also get out of here with that call. Apparently, Robert Saleh went on record and said the call was supposed to be a jet sweep to Braxton Berrios, who had himself a fine day. Berrios was out of control good yesterday, right? That's not the call. Zach Wilson takes it himself, doesn't get anywhere. You give the GOAT the time of day to go down the field and do exactly what everybody knew what was going to happen. As soon as the Jets lined up for it on 4th down, I said, Brady wins this game. Period. Stop.
Okay. You know how everybody for the last couple of years has just been saying, like, I really want things to get back to normal. Like, all I want is for everything to get back to normal, right? Mm-hmm. So all in one fell swoop yesterday, right? Antonio Brown flew off the handle again.
We'll get into it.
Fairly normal, right? And Tom Brady came back and beat the Jets on a last-minute drive. Just like old times, fairly normal. So it looks like we finally put all this bullshit. The pandemic is now over.
Antonio Brown, Tom Brady single-handedly just ended the pandemic?
Tom Brady ended the pandemic, and Antonio Brown took exception with that. And apparently he was upset about it because he is vaccinated, right? Or is he not? We're not sure about
we don't know. He's
Brown just yet. But we're going to get into the Antonio Brown thing. But see,
Nick Shine coming in, I just want to point this out. He goes, you get the first down, and you don't give him the opportunity to get the ball. And I get that logic. But you have a chance to go up.
Hear me out. And I agree. If you're in the Ravens situation that they were in, going for the extra point, like equated to that, then I see your point. Kick the field goal. I'm with you. But when you got 4 wins, it's week 17, and you're going up against the defending Super Bowl champs, and you have a chance to show your team that you have confidence in them, and you're going to say, you know what, you guys go out there and either win this game, and if we don't get this first down, we still have a chance. But what you do is, say you do lose. And guess what? You still get that draft spot. So there really is no losing for the Jets because they went out there on their shield. They went out there. They didn't permeate a losing culture with that call. You know, Robert Saleh is coaching that team to win. And supposedly what you said, Zach Wilson played well yesterday. You got to give some credit.
I'll eat crow, bro. There was a time at one point of the season I said, maybe this guy ain't it. Maybe it's buyer's remorse. But then lately in the end of the season, the kid starts showing some poise. You get this kid some weapons and an offensive line, and maybe we're going to see something good and see something that the Jets saw when they drafted him 2nd overall.
Like I said, he's also, just to note, this is the biggest disparity in age for an NFL quarterback matchup in NFL history. And it's also weird that they were born on the same day, 22 years apart. So it's 22 years to the day older than.
I know. I saw the graphic.
Yeah, so
like Brady was a rookie. This kid was an infant.
So give the kid a shot. You know, when Tom Brady was winning Super Bowls, Zach Wilson was literally a baby, like literally just a born baby. So he's 16 now. He had a really good game against the GOAT. In a couple years, he'll probably be good.
He just celebrated the Sweet 16. He's back in this. But yeah, Carl put out something that happened at the end of the game. I don't know if you know this, but the guy who picked off Tom Brady has the ball, and he went up and got Tom Brady to autograph that ball, and he did. So shout out to Eccles or whatever the guy's name is. But yeah, so this game again.
Imagine if Tom Brady lost.
Oh, it would be no autograph.
Stabbed the guy in the throat.
He would have punched him right dead in the dick. But anyway, this game, it pissed me off. I didn't like. Now there is some kind of controversy going on between the communication between coach and player. Saleh calls one play. You know, Wilson takes it himself. Do you think Wilson just didn't hear it, or do you think Wilson's like, I have a chance right now to put this game on ice myself? I'm about to do that. Do you think he's trying to get the swagger
in a weird way? I feel like I hope it was the second one because it would show me something about Zach Wilson. And granted, he failed, but
that he doesn't listen to coaches.
That honestly, maybe. But in that situation, I think that I don't think he's in trouble. Let's just call it that. You know, I think that when you're a quarterback and you got to develop a relationship with a coach, there might be a learning curve here. And I would like to see this relationship in 2 years. I think that Robert Saleh is a pretty understanding dude. And if it was a miscommunication, then that's on the coach. If it was Zach Wilson doing what he thought was the best thing to do, then that's on the quarterback. But you want your quarterback to have that sense of confidence. At least I do. And we know that the talent is there. It's just a matter of the rest of it catching up and the parts being there on the team. But I say we pump the brakes on Zach Wilson being terrible because he's, like we said,
fine.
He's very
I'm
young.
okay with that.
And I like that confidence. I'm not sure that the result wasn't what they wanted, but I like the confidence. I'm happy about that kid making that call, even though you might say, don't do that shit again, but you're turning around and being like, all right, I like the moxie at least.
Yeah, well, Salah took the blame. Obviously, I did know that. AJ coming in, Salah saying it was on himself and the OC. Yeah, I mean, look, again, he has a 2-play option, the read of the D line. Yeah, I know how the play works. Like, I know what a jet sweep is, but I just, again, he took it himself. He tried it. I guess shout out and kudos to Zach Wilson for trying to be a hero in New York against Tom Brady, the legend. But guess what, folks? There was something else that happened in this game, okay? And clearly, this is one of the most bizarre things that we've ever seen as football fans, and that's Antonio Brown literally quitting mid-shift. Like, his shift wasn't over, and he said, I'm out. And there's a lot of stuff coming out as to why this happened, a lot of reasoning behind it. Apparently, coach tried to put him back in. Brown said, I'm too hurt to go back in. And then he said, all right, then get out. And he left. And he left in style. And he took off his shoulder pads. His teammates said, hey, man, don't do this. Don't do this. But here he was anyway. Shoulder pads off, shirt off, runs out. Peace out to everybody. Into the tunnel. Finds himself an Uber. Literally, there was literal pictures of him waiting for a ride outside of MetLife. There's a lot to digest here, man. There's a lot to digest here. And I put on the social media yesterday on, skipping off the field. Exactly. I put a lot of stock in this when I said that Antonio Brown shouldn't be allowed to play in the league after this. And what I meant to say, or what I meant in that context, is that football needs now to come second to your mental health. Clearly, it is 1,000% accurate that there is something wrong with Antonio Brown. He should not be playing in the National Football League if this is how screwed up he is. Am I wrong by saying that?
No. I think that
I know a lot of the guys came at me saying, he should be kicked out.
All the internet doctors with CTE diagnosis and that he's this or he's that. Nobody actually knows what's going on with Antonio Brown. I don't think Antonio Brown even does. I think there's a couple factors here. One, it could be the CTE. Two, it could be that he's just been
here's the thing.
A privileged athlete his whole life, been the best player at every stop that he's been at. And then all of a sudden now the coaches are not really taking your bullshit. And there might be a shred of that. There's a lot of, now I'm a fucking millionaire. Right. I don't want to talk about his mental health because I don't know.
But here's the thing. There has never been anybody in the history, I could be wrong here, but I'm going to say this with confidence, that has ever been diagnosed with CTE before they're dead. That is something found later on. Yeah. So for people to say like, oh, CTE, no, something's wrong with this guy up here. And it might be something that down the road when he dies.
I think he might be like a schizo or
he's got
that's
what I'm saying. There's some kind of
on,
personality disorder. There's something there. There's not CTE. So people need to stop blaming it on CTE. And I understand that people say Vontaze Burfict was the one that knocked this kid silly for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
There's something to that. There is. Once you have a brain injury, there are things that you can't control.
But that's the whole entire NFL at this point. Everybody's been getting lit up. I remember watching Devontae Adams get completely starched by the Bears like 7 years ago. He's not making crazy rap videos and slapping girls around and doing all this weird shit that I thought or heard about AB doing. I don't know if all the details came about like that whole that domestic situation with AB, but bro, just last week I sent you the video of him, getting a checkup from his doctor and he just rips 2 loud ass farts right in the doctor's face. That wasn't like a setup video. The doctor wasn't in on that. You know, like that's a piece of shit move. Whether you want to say CTE caused that or not, I'm just saying that to me that makes you a dirtbag. That's it. CTE or not, you're a dirtbag. Antonio Brown,
pretty apparent. Now, last week he went on record. Vinny coming in. I'm with Chris. He needs the attention at all times. But Burfict had 2 bad hits on him. Yes, I completely understand. And Burfict ended Brown's career after the hit, according to Anand.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. It's an unfortunate thing.
Listen, that rattled something. That knocked the screw loose is the term you can use, right? But this guy's been given chance after chance with different teams. He was on the Raiders for about a cup of coffee, right? And do you remember the reaction video when he got released from the Raiders?
Yeah.
Running around his backyard. I'm free. What are you doing? Like, you are clearly
there's a point
wrong
in here being made that he didn't want to risk getting hurt against the Jets when they're losing to the Jets. Well, they ended up winning the game, A, and B, what are you talking about? There was reports coming, not that what you're talking about. I'm just trying to dispel that aspect of things because I saw that there was reports coming out on the flip side that he was angry because they wouldn't put him in the game and that he was trying to get in because he was like 33 yards away from a $300,000 bonus. He was basically about a game's worth of stats away from achieving about $1 million in incentive money. And the story came out, I think it was like Black Adam Schefter on Twitter released that he was pissed off that he wasn't getting put in because of incentives. So which is it? I think it's the first one where he said, I'm not going in, I'm too hurt. And it had nothing to do with
like Willie Mays Hayes. Like, I got a genuine knee injury. No.
And he didn't seem hurt when he was skipping off the field. Either way, look, Antonio Brown, he's probably out of the league. The NFL is not going to have to rule on it because I didn't know that there was many teams before last season. I think this offseason, there was teams that would have given him a kick the tires on AB after what he did with the Super Bowl run. But now
Bruce Arians is the ultimate player's coach. If you've messed up in your entire life, maybe messed up for your entire life, Bruce Arians is the guy that's going to give you a shot. He gave AB a shot. He said he was done with the Bucs before he said anything else in that post-game press conference. Now I'm waiting for an apology. I'm waiting for something where things got mixed or jumbled or something to that effect where this turns out to be brushed under the rug. But it is the most bizarre.
Well, I think it was pretty telling. Well, what Brady said. Did you see what Brady's quote?
I did not see what Brady said.
He just said, at this time, I think we need everybody to be more empathic and show some sympathy for what's going on with AB.
Fine.
That's his friend, and maybe Brady knows that there clearly is some things going on.
Yeah, I think he lived with the guy, right?
Otherwise, he wouldn't have made that tweet because, that's essentially insinuating that he has mental health issues. So there obviously is something wrong up there, but.
Right. And like I said, last night, it rubbed me the wrong way when somebody again, I like Kyle, not Kerms, the other Kyle that's in the Chop Sports. And he's like, for somebody so adamant and involved in mental health, right, and such an advocate for it, like myself, because I am, right, I'm a very firm believer in that you should go get help. I myself, truth be told, got help when I needed to get help. You do that, right? You do that. Antonio Brown needs that. And I'm one to say that because I saw the signs. When you're a me, everybody look at me, please, for the love of God, look at me. That's a sign of weakness. You need to talk to somebody. And the last thing you need to do is be catching balls from Tom Brady. That's it. You don't belong in the league that needs everybody to be upright citizens. He's clearly not. There's something wrong. So go get fixed. And I'll tell you right now, I'm rooting for you, AB. I'm rooting for you to go get the help, right? Clean yourself up, get yourself back out there, get yourself back in football shape because you'll be out of the league for a little while, and come back. Come back to the league a new man. I'm rooting for that. But you cannot tell me that this guy needs to be playing in this league. It's over.
Bro, Vinny, my cousin Vinny, or Scoop's cousin Vinny, coming in and saying, OJ Simpson found it inexcusable. So that says a fucking whole lot.
Jesus
OJ
Christ.
Doesn't even co-sign
OJ needs
it.
to get off of social media is what OJ needs to do.
OJ needs to stay right on social media. I'm here for all of that smoke. Great.
You're in for it?
I don't follow him because I feel like it's like
yeah,
but
I'm not following either A, somebody who got away with murder, or B, murder somebody.
I equate it to like the Iron Sheik. It's just fucking
like
great
Iron
entertainment.
Sheik is like, go fuck your mother, right? Like, I'll break your neck. And like, oh, that's funny, Iron Sheik. You've completely lost touch with the world. You know what I mean? Like, you've fallen
Jimmy OG
way off
with the comment of the episode so far. Maybe he was just playing against himself in the fantasy finals.
Holy shit. I told my brother that. I was like, imagine having AB in your starting lineup and you watched him go into the tunnel and you're like, wait a minute, hold on. Hold on. Come back. Please come back. And you're watching your fantasy title just slip away. But if you had AB in your starting lineup,
I know my brother's still watching. Also, Carl, I told you AB wasn't going to cut it this year, bro. You could co-sign that.
All right. Well,
still here.
In any event, it doesn't matter at this point. AB is off the rocker. More than likely won't be playing any more football this year, potentially next year. Can't foresee any coach taking a chance on the guy. I'm sorry. Like, it's just he's not welcomed in this league when you're like this. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like, I'm not saying what he's doing right now is bad. He needs the help. Go get the help, then come back and play. I'm all for it. I'm all for a comeback story. Trust me on that one. All right.
Yeah, we got 9
I'm
games to
living
go.
proof of a comeback story. I'm totally stable. Look at me. It's like from Office Space. He's like, good things can happen. I mean, look at me. And he's like a wheelchair, like can't move.
Ooh,
right?
I'm excited to talk about this game. I'm excited to talk about this game. This is the game of the week. The Bengals hosting the Kansas City Chiefs with a lot of seeding implications, playoff implications out west. The Bengals, man, they showed everybody what they're worth this year. They won the AFC North when nobody, I think everybody in the entire world had them finishing dead last in that division. But Joe Burrow, shout out to all the draft gurus, the internet Mel Kipers, for talking shit about the Bengals draft.
What?
For talking shit about the Bengals drafting Jamar Chase instead of an offensive lineman for Joe Burrow.
And now you've drafted the
How
rookie
many
of the year.
touchdowns do you think an offensive lineman would have caught yesterday? None.
There was one offensive lineman with the immaculate reception.
Bro, that was amazing, by the way.
So good, by the way.
And it was only amazing because it didn't matter, but oh my God, how sick would I have been if that would have actually
Could
mattered.
you imagine that big galoot just getting
nope,
down the
I
field?
can't imagine that. But
anyway.
Joe Burrow quietly entered himself into the MVP conversation, even though he really doesn't have much
Danny
of a
just
chance.
said it. He's now plus 1,000. He's actual betting. Like, he's in there. I mean, look, again.
He's not going to win it.
He's not going to win it because it doesn't matter what he does next week. I don't know. Nah, he won't win it. I can't even make an argument for it.
The only argument you can make against Aaron Rodgers is that you don't like him. It's like, that's it.
Well, I told you that there was one point.
Andrew Brandt said he won't vote for Aaron Rodgers because of his off-the-field issues.
Anana Shar coming in, I know, back on the Antonio Brown. He'll be fighting a Paul brother by the end of the year.
Oh, that would be.
I mean,
that would be poetic.
Are you doubting that?
But are we really talking about CTE is the best thing for him to be?
Yeah, best thing in the world. Go box.
I mean, really,
that makes sense.
Him and Le'Veon Bell are I guess.
My dad, I think my dad mentioned that. He's like, maybe he didn't want to play a Bell anymore. Like, Bell was getting a lot of reps.
Le'Veon Bell came out after the game and was like, AB, my guy, he's just misunderstood.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
What about, like, and people got mad at Beckham.
Yeah, I saw a comment, I think it was in the group, in the Chop Sports Facebook group, where it was like, Odell Beckham or Antonio Brown is everything that the media wants Odell Beckham to be, but he isn't. And I got to tip my hat to Beckham. He really is showing out in LA right now. I know in the beginning I was like, oh, it's a 1-yard touchdown. No, motherfucker made plays down the stretch yesterday. He actually won that game for them.
But in any event, the AFC playoff picture gets big time messed around with because now with the Chiefs falling, and we'll talk about the Titans in a little bit, the AFC, I've never seen this before, how wide open it is as far as who can come out of the AFC. Because you're thinking to yourself, it's the Chiefs, right? After the last 8-9 weeks when they're winning games left and right. Now this team dethrones the Chiefs.
Like, everybody was like, oh, if the one team that's really scary is the Colts. And then you got to worry about the Patriots, or, and then all these teams have kind of showed.
And look, we played into it.
They're very beatable.
We were on the Colts bandwagon for a second.
I still am. I still think the Colts are a good team and they're going to be tough out in the playoffs. But the Raiders showed up. Let's talk about this game first because we didn't even get into this game. I wasn't going into the Raider game yet, but Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs had every opportunity to put this game away. They beat the brakes off them in the first half. I had the first half bet, but for whatever reason, you just can't count this Cincinnati team out. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, they literally are just playing catch on a playground against NFL players.
Everything that was thrown was caught. Everything. Every ball that went into the air, and you're like, he can't. Oh, he came down.
Are we at the point now where we could possibly agree that 1 and 1A in 3 years is going to be Chase and Jefferson?
I think you have a very strong case for that.
Yeah,
I have a very strong case for that because you even said, I think we were talking about it in pre, that next year's fantasy draft, I was like, does Jamar Chase jump into the top 10 category? You said not yet, but there was only 2 people that you would take.
If you're in love with Jamar Chase and you pick 10th, you're not going to get him if you don't pick him there. So yeah, he could. It just depends on I could easily see Jamar Chase being picked where Tyreek Hill was picked, easily, but it's all preference at that point. And I think people are going to be a little more apprehensive.
I'm going to say it right now. Jamar Chase is a better receiver than Tyreek Hill right now.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I think he's
the one-trick pony stuff where you're
hard,
just a
it's
speed
hard
burner.
To deny, bro. Like what he's doing is insane for a rookie, and what Justin Jefferson is doing is also insane for these guys are really talented. It's going to be fun to watch them. But back to this game, and really just the Bengals in general. Jamar Chase, going into the week, Jamar Chase was plus 400 to win Rookie of the Year, and Mac Jones was a heavy favorite at minus 500 to win Rookie of the Year.
What's the switch?
I don't know what they are right now because it wouldn't show me, and I was.
If somebody wants to pull that up,
if somebody can pull up the Rookie of the Year odds, I'm really curious to see.
I think it's a runaway at this point.
But the Patriots dropped 50, so it wasn't like Mac Jones shit the bed yesterday.
There was a lot of running though.
He dropped. He had at least 3 touchdown passes that I saw. So
it's going to be tight, man.
Mac Jones didn't do anything to hurt his case, but a record-setting day like that down the stretch, it's tough, man. In a division-clinching game, that's tough to deny.
And shout out to the post-game celebration, Joey Burrow, man. He's Joey Ice, bro. Like he's dripping.
It was jackpot Joey. He's a winner.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Very, very
smoking cigars and stuff in the. It's great. Anyway, so the Bengals. Look, you gotta keep your eye on them, because at a 10-6 team right now, they're going to be fun to watch, and they're really, in the playoffs.
Really, what just happened was the Chiefs got that loss that they needed to get out of the way, and look out for the Chiefs going forward. That's my
there. You
prediction.
go. Ready for this? Look at that swoop. Look at that scoop coming in there. Jones plus 175. Chase is now minus 225 to win the Rookie of the Year. That's incredible. What a that's 1 week's worth. Danny coming in. Jones played the Jaguars. Burrow Chase did against the Chiefs. There's your case too.
Yeah,
it is the Jaguars. They barely field the team at this point. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm personally rooting for the Bengals.
I'm saying that plus 175 for Mac Jones right now is probably a good value bet. Yeah, there's one game to go. He's the quarterback. I could very, very easily see him just being endearing to all the voters and
both. See, now I look at that. League. I don't know if the Bengals can grab the 1 seed. They can. They can grab the 1 seed. So Burrow's going to be playing his ass off, and so are the Patriots. Both of those teams are playing for the 1 seed. So you will see their A game in Week 18. There's no meaningless football in that regard. There is in a lot of other cases, but in that regard, those guys are going to be balling out. So it's down to the wire. Exciting to see it. I know it's just an accolade and it's just a Rookie of the Year, but these guys could also start going head to head for the rest of their careers in like Offensive Player of the Year categories. You know what I'm saying? Like MVP.
Well, the league is in good hands with a lot of these young stars. That's the takeaway.
If you're a football fan, it's the perfect time because you have serious guys.
We saw Jordan Love show out yesterday on the kneel down at the end of the game.
Oh my God. Let's move it on to the feel-good story of the year. The Las Vegas Raiders now 9-7. So it's just weird to say that these records are not done yet. Like the record, they finished 9-7. No, they're not done. One more game. But the Colts, bro, this is alarming for them because they had a chance to win and they blew it, right? Derek Carr went out there, did work. Jacobs did work. The Raiders, who I picked, did work. So I think the Raiders story is not done. I think their head coach is making a very, very strong case to be kept around, regardless of how the season ends. They fought for this guy.
Yeah.
They removed John Gruden. Henry Ruggs is killing people. Like there's a whole bunch of crap going on in Las Vegas and everything kind of is on the brink. And all of a sudden the Raiders just keep rolling.
Well, they're having a winning season regardless because they can't go 9.
Right. They'll be 9-8.
9-8 regardless. And right now, the team that everybody's been touting as a top 5 team last week in the power rankings. I think the Colts were 5 or 6, which is insane to me that the Raiders are now ranked ahead of them in the standings, not just the power rankings. Like the Raiders right now are a better team than the Colts this season.
Well, I mean, not by record, but yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
they beat them head to head,
and that's right.
And the head-to-head win. So like they're above them. It's insane to me how the Raiders have just kind of fought. They won 3 straight at this point, right?
They rattled them off. Yeah.
In December, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, it's January now.
What's his name? Ralph, Jack, Balsacia, Balsacia. Got this team playing great, and you got to give credit where it's due. Does he get the job next year? I think he might. I think what have these other candidates done that he hasn't done?
Stat of the day here. This is the first loss for the Colts where Taylor ran over 100 and lost. So now that stat goes poo-poo. No longer are you relying on a 100-yard rushing game out of Taylor, which is kind of normal at this point for good elite running backs. Shout out Zeke, who had 14 rushing yards yesterday. So that was ballsy. But yeah, so look, the Raiders are alive, and now they've been flexed to Sunday Night Football next week to take on the Chargers for a win and in scenario. Gotta love that shit. You gotta love that's the final game of the year, technically, because there's no Monday Night Football in Week 18. Yeah. So that'll be the final way we end it going into the playoffs to find out the Raiders can get into the playoffs. And dude, how great would it be for the Cowboys, the Packers, and the Raiders representation all to have playoff games going into the new year? Like that's incredible.
I mean, I think that the Raiders could still lose and make it, though, right?
There would have to be a lot of things to go their way to lose that game and make it. But yeah, excited. Yeah, all right. So AJ coming in. Technically, the Colts still ahead on a 3-way tie. That 3-way tie stuff is going to work detrimental to some teams, but really, really really kick it up into high gear for the other teams. All right, so let's move it on. The Eagles, they also clinched a playoff spot last night with the Vikings losing. So thank you, Gooch. Not only do you clinch the one, you also put the Eagles in the playoffs, you scumbag. So the Eagles are in the playoffs. But the bigger story here is not the Washington football team sucking. Well, that is the story because they do suck. But their stadium is now falling apart, Gooch. Like there was a potential like homicide.
Where is the game next week?
Where? What are you talking about?
The Cowboys.
It's in Philly.
So the Cowboys are playing. I was going to say maybe the Cowboys will bring their own stadium with them this time, but they're not even playing Washington. So my joke fell flat, but it was a great joke.
It was a great
joke. It worked
joke.
out that
Dallas
way.
brings the benches a couple weeks back. Now the Cowboys are going to bring their actual AT&T stadium and place it over this piece of shit dump.
Those shitty Redskins or those shitty Eagles.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, like they couldn't even win and celebrate because the stadium's falling apart. Like Jalen Hurts almost was killed. Like that entire thing, I watched that happen once in like 95 to Shawn Michaels. Like all the crazy girls are trying to grab at him, and the whole thing just almost takes him out.
Not one fan was apologetic. Not one fan gave a shit. They were like, "Hey, what's going on, bro? I made it down here." You know, no, dude, you almost killed the quarterback.
And Hurts was like, hey,
is there any security? Security anywhere?
Is anybody gonna stab me right now? I know they're all Eagles fans, but Jesus Christ, my life is on the line. Dude, it was a
gutsy win though. The game itself, you know, Jalen Hurts has shown me something more and more. I like I said, Donovan McNabb.
It's hard for me to
compare him to a little bit like a Donovan McNabb type. I think Jalen Hurts has potential. He's not the greatest passer, but again, he's in his second year this year. So these guys have plenty of time to figure that stuff out.
Vinny coming in. Raw sewage and collapsing stands. That's what a Washington football team does. And I read that in the Wedding Crashers voice where it's like crab cakes and football. This is literally what they do. They are such an abomination. The Washington football team franchise just needs to collapse and say, look, we're done. It's over. It's done. Like, we don't even want to be a team anymore. We got guys fighting each other on the sidelines. You got the raw sewage dumping from the mezzanine, right? And then you got the stands fall apart, almost kill Jalen Hurts. So Washington, take the L forever and leave. Just get out of town. Washington, D.C. is already a shit show.
I wonder if they're going to,
as it is.
If they're going to take another team name, or they're just going to stick with the football team moniker.
They should just leave. Just goodbye.
That's about the only news I give a shit about right now.
Well, it's when they change to the Red Tails or something like that, or just
or not. Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, they got a storied history of sucking outside of Doug Williams.
I will say that the Redskins were a great franchise until Daniel Snyder fucking bought them.
He is literally the worst person maybe on the planet right now. There's probably a lot worse people on the planet, but he's up there. as far as the NFL is concerned, he's up there. Anyway, so the Eagles get into the playoffs. Cowboys, oh, look at that. Not for nothing. Good call, Danny. COVID watch. Hurts hugs all those fans. He's going to come down with COVID next week and not be able to play the Cowboys.
This is part of the reason why I've been bashing the COVID protocols anyways, because when the Packers score or anyone scores in Lambeau Field, they jump into the crowd anyway.
Very
true. Testing those guys like, hey, before I jump in here, you think you can take this?
Yeah, everybody test? Hold your vax cards. I'm coming for the leap. they're all showing the vax cards. Great, good stuff. Anyway, let's go. Mike Dolan is worse. I don't know about that. The Rams right now clearly still in the NFC West lead. Even with the Cardinals beating Dallas, the Rams are still in the lead. They pull this one off against the Ravens, in which, dude, I don't think the Ravens are making the playoffs. Like, this is alarming.
They're not.
They're outside. Are they outside looking in right now? I think they are.
Yeah, they're 100%.
That's incredible.
They were outside looking in at 8-7.
I blame this on Lamar. Like, straight up Lamar just being bitch made and not getting back in there and playing games.
No, I mean, like, he's hurt, bro. If he was able to go, he would be going. It's a high ankle sprain. They're tricky to diagnose. But at the same time, I don't think Tyler Huntley has really been playing bad enough to be Lamar be the reason why. There's other issues with that team. They're fucking really banged up. And they played well yesterday. Like, this team had some fight, and they did exactly what I thought they were going to do. If you listen back on Friday, I was talking like, I wouldn't be so quick to just write the Ravens off, because I still see them as like a playoff team. Even now, when we're looking at it, like, it's like shocking. Like, wow, the Ravens, how they started this year.
They were the one seed, bro.
Yeah,
the one very recently, 4 weeks ago.
Very recently, and they were the top AFC team in my power rankings a couple weeks ago. So yeah, not a couple, but maybe about 6 weeks ago. So the Ravens have fell fast. A lot of it has to do with Lamar, but Tyler Huntley wasn't playing bad. He really wasn't. It was a lot of other reasons why they lost that game. There was a bad turnover by him, but you gotta account for some of those things happening when you have a guy who's only made 4 starts in his career, if that.
I mean, it remains to be seen. Chase is now. Oh, Brandon Taylor coming in a little late. Yeah, Chase is minus 225 to win the Rookie of the Year. But I will say, AJ Pascal coming in. It's simple. If you don't have your 4 starting corners play the second most man, you're going to get beat. I don't know what he's referring to. Maybe the Ravens having all their corners down.
Yeah, and I think that what they're doing is they're playing man coverage.
That's not good. You can't play man coverage against guys like Cooper Kupp. You can't do that. Cooper Kupp is the best receiver
Jimmy
in
Smith
football
did play yesterday, and he had a good game. I know that Kyle was talking about him being a difference maker or an X factor. And Cooper Kupp was largely held in check for the most part of that game, but the fourth quarter, it was just, the Ravens depleted secondary. It came back to bite them.
Where's the Rams outlook to you? They win the West, obviously, or not even obvious. I mean, they have to finish their job.
Yeah, they got to win. They got to win their game. I'm not exactly sure who they're playing. I really didn't really break down into next week yet because I know that we're going to be doing that tomorrow and talking about the possible playoff scenarios. But I mean, the Rams are a good team. I just think that what you saw a little bit of yesterday was they have obvious holes on defense. They ran the ball to open up the second half. I think the Ravens ran it like 9 out of 10 times directly down the field on them. They could have basically told them to play like Aaron Donald, we're running it directly at you. And they ended up holding them to a field goal, which was huge in the outcome of that game. But I just think that the Rams they're very, very beatable team. I think Stafford makes a lot of mistakes still. Cooper Kupp is playing out of his mind. And you're going to let that happen. I mean, Cooper Kupp is going to do his thing no matter what. But the Rams, I wasn't really that impressed. I mean, I haven't been. I hope we play them. Odell Beckham is their best player right now, other than Cooper Kupp.
Bold. I was going to say outside of Cooper Kupp. I'm assuming you meant. But anyway, so yeah, the Rams obviously a win, and they win the West.
You talked about the team infighting. You see Jalen Ramsey and that other dude.
I did not see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, it was stupid. A mountain of a molehill. They got into a little chirping match, but Jalen Ramsey is an asshole. You shouldn't biff your teammate in a huddle if you're getting into it. It's like, save that for the other team, but whatever.
What's a biff? Oh, okay. Biff. I was just like, when you say biff. All right, moving on. What do we got? Another game with playoff implications. The 49ers keep themselves relevant. The Texans were kind of running with them for a little while. Eli Mitchell had himself a decent day getting back on the field, a lot of yards behind him. And the 49ers are just, they are who they are. They have a chance to get in. They got to win again, I believe, to get in. They're not on the outside looking in. I believe they're in the playoff. We're going to do the playoff picture.
Playoffs right now. It's either the 49ers or the Saints. That's the only two teams that can make it.
So now it's a win and in, or if it's a loss and the Saints win, the Saints get in, I'm assuming. And the 49ers don't.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there would be clinched.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the scenario.
And the Saints play the Falcons.
And the 49ers play the Rams. Yikes. Okay. Well, we're going to get into all the playoff stuff tomorrow when everything's kind of crystallized and the week is officially over. We'll get into the scenarios and stuff. But, yeah, I mean, look, the 49ers have a chance to keep doing what they're doing, run the football. They did this with Trey Lance yesterday. So let's call that also. I mean, you could tell there's definitely a discrepancy between the two. Definitely different two play styles. Like Jimmy G is obviously not the player or the athlete that Trey Lance is. But Trey Lance played well. I mean, you can't say that he didn't. Got the job done, and now he puts himself in a position for a clinch with a win. So
I don't think it changes much about the 49ers play calling per se. I think that you just might, instead of seeing Trey Lance come in certain subsets where he's going to get the ball, it's like we still kind of run the same thing because Jimmy G isn't the greatest passer. I think Trey Lance has a bigger arm than him. Jimmy G just might be a little more efficient at running the offense. But talent-wise, I think Trey Lance has him in that department. I don't think that the 49ers really...
You don't think they make a move to go... Let's just say Trey Lance gets the job done next week and Jimmy G's out again. Jimmy G starts that first playoff game, right?
100%.
Yeah, that's what I figured. All right.
So there's no play.
Trey Lance he can't play himself into a starting role.
He's healthy. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Not against the Texans.
Shout out to the Niners again. One win and they're into the playoffs. So that will be another representation of Chop Sports. Your brother is a big 49er guy. My boy Greg, 49er guy. They're all rooting for the 49ers to get into the playoffs. Moving on. Playoff implications to the point where now the Chargers with this win have that win and in scenario with the Las Vegas Raiders next week. The Chargers played well. The Broncos showed that they just couldn't run with them. And now the Broncos will have to kind of reassess for the year. and find out who their quarterback's going to be next year. Because I don't even think you can roll with Teddy Bridgewater if he's healthy. This is a team that needs to find a quarterback and find one fast, because Drew Lock ain't the guy. Neither is Teddy Bridgewater. The Broncos are struggling right now, and their season's over. And now they can start thinking about next year because it's officially over. Like, they can't get into the playoffs.
I don't think that Teddy Bridgewater is necessarily a terrible quarterback, but as far as like what this team is going to be held back, he's always going to be middle of the road at best. Even that's giving him a little bit too much credit. I think he's an adequate player, but he's always going to be on a middle of the road team that's like a struggling offense.
He's the stop
defense. Yeah, he's the guy that I could easily see getting another job to fill a void for a season or two while someone develops.
Goes back to Carolina.
No.
Carolina's in disarray.
Yeah, I don't know. Teddy Bridgewater, he's just a backup quarterback right now, but he's starting because Denver has bad options. But at the same time, he is efficient. Like, he's literally the tailor-made backup quarterback, where if a guy goes down, it's like, all right, we got Teddy Two Gloves to come in and run the offense.
Correct.
Easy money.
Correct.
But I don't think he's a starter.
That's his role going forward, because right now I can't foresee.
Unfortunately, Drew Lock is also not a starter.
No. Drew Lock might find himself out of the league like a Christian Hackenberg type scenario in a couple of years. Anyway, moving on. This one was an absolute beatdown. The Patriots beat the Jaguars 50-10. A 50-burger put on the Jaguars. The Jaguars didn't try. They're done. It's over. Mac Jones does his thing. The Patriots are now a win away from clinching a playoff spot. Or no, they're in, right? Yeah, the Patriots are in. Just a matter of, can they win the East with the Bills?
Yeah, they could
win. They could be the 1 seed.
If they could still be the 1 seed. They could still. I mean, that
AFC is going to be a wild west in the week 18, because everybody can go out there and win games, and it'll really bode well for the race. So I'm excited about that. Not much to talk about here. The Patriots took care of what they had to take care of, and now the Patriots look to do their thing in week 18. So moving on. Another absolute beatdown. I said it last week. I wasn't a believer in Tua. This team looks like crapola, and I don't know if they're going to be in the postseason.
Crapola is one of those dadisms. Just so crapola.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
Crapola? Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a dadism?
It's like, for crying out loud, or crapola.
Crying out loud is definitely worse.
No way.
Oh,
crapola.
I don't even know what crapola is supposed to mean. Like, it's supposed to be like a.
That's bullshit.
Like
Dave.
Coca-Cola with
bullshit. It's like
I know what it is. I'm saying, like,
it's the Christian version of bullshit.
Christian version. Anyway, Dolphins are out with the loss. They're toast. But look out for the Titans, man. Look, this is a big thing for the Titans to win this game and win next week too. Because if they can lock down the 1 seed, right, and they get that week off, King Henry is coming back for his throne, bro. That's a big win next week coming up for the Titans. They need to have it. They got to have it. That they have to know that's what's on the line. It's like, we can get 1 more week of rest, and all of a sudden King Henry gets back in the huddle, and now that team dynamic changes right back to run first, right? I mean, he's right there.
I mean, I feel like it still is run first. You see the guy that they have running the ball? It looks like the Predator. I forget what his name is, but he ran like a lot like Derrick Henry ran yesterday. Foreman. Yes, right. He had a good game, and he hits the hole hard. I just think it's the scheme. Vrabel coaches these guys up to play physical, and every once in a while you see this Titans team show up,
and they showed up,
and now they're the 1 seed.
Now they're the 1 seed.
Go figure.
Yeah, that to me, that's the most mind-numbing thing about this whole thing, is how the Titans win this game, and now they're a 1 seed. Like, at 11 and 5.
I had no idea that they were even in line to make the 1 seed. That's
saying.
How crazy the AFC was. I just remember seeing, like, it was like, oh, by the way, the Titans are now the 1 seed. And I was like, the fuck? Right. AFC sucks.
Right. That's your 1 seed AFC? Is that what's happening here? But anyway, yeah. So Titans have a chance to be the 1 seed with a win next week. We'll cover them next week. Bills.
Wait, are the Bengals a 2 seed right now, or are they the 3?
2.
So the Jets beat the 1 and the 2 seed in the AFC.
Go figure that one out. Go figure that one out. That's fun.
Whoa.
The Bills take care of business. They're in line to win the They're in line to try to win the AFC East as they take out the Falcons. Matty Ice went in there. Anon coming in saying Teddy B covers spreads. Yes,
I agree. I wrote him a lot. So, everybody knows I did like the Broncos this year, and Teddy Bridgewater does win me money.
So the Falcons season is coming to a close as they are now 7-9. But look, shout out to the Falcons for hanging with them for a little while. But this game was in the snow. It was just gross, and you knew something's bad. Josh Allen, bro, he can run. He is like I don't know how to describe it, but like every other time I see him play, Like, there's some throws that look to me, I'm like, oh God, like what was that? But like, dude, this kid can run. He's like a locomotive. He's just a tall, upright runner. He's shifty for his size. Like, the Bills are going to be a problem this year.
I feel like Bills fans would give their firstborn child for Josh Allen.
Vinny, is that true? Vinny, cousin Vinny is a Bills fan.
Honestly,
would you give your firstborn child for Josh Allen?
Watching the Bills play, Josh Allen does some things wrong. But
Bengals are three. Bengals are three. Sorry.
Oh, but Josh Allen does some things wrong, right? But it's like whatever. Every Bills fan is like, yeah, because he has to do everything. Like, what do you expect? And it's so true. Like, he literally has to do everything. He's like turns the hand the ball off. He's like, fuck this. I'm gonna do my best Zach Wilson impression, and I'm gonna take it myself because that's their only chance in the run game.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they do not have a running game. That's what's scary about this team is that they don't. So that's Josh Allen is Peyton Hillis. Peyton Hillis, once upon a time, cover of Madden, by the way. Go figure that one out. I remember getting that cover. I'm like, who is this guy? I knew who he was, obviously, but that earned him that. But yeah. So again,
Josh Allen's Tim Tebow.
Oof, don't do that. That's not nice. That was a rough one. But so anyway, sick. Both of them, he said. So the Bills get it done. They have a chance to win the East next week. Is that it? We have any more, Dina?
No, I think that's it. We have the
this garbage game. Anyway, the Lions.
Three teams that scored 50 yesterday.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's one more after this.
Wow. Have
well, no, it's probably the Monday nighter.
Cleveland game.
Okay. Oh, the Cleveland game. But anyway, so the Seahawks.
That is Monday night.
I mean, yes, that is the Cleveland game. But she's saying there's another game ahead of that too. But anyway, Seahawks take care of business. They're ending their season and trying to end their season on a high note. The Lions are fighting back. I saw them trying to cover that game. I know that's what you were trying to do, Lions. You're trying to get back within the spread, and just wasn't to be. So the Lions dropped this one. This one's a dud. I don't want to talk about this game because this game stinks. So, Dina, what's next? Dina's trying to multitask over here. The Aints. The Aints keep themselves in it. The Saints winning this game keep themselves in the playoff race. A win next week and a 49er loss, and the Saints are in. We just talked about it. The Saints got the Falcons. The 49ers got the Rams. This is a possibility. Can they get into the playoffs with Taysom Hill as their guy? That's disturbing to say the least, but they have the shot. It's there, right? I mean,
that would be arguably the worst playoff team in NFL history, if you ask me. Not the Saints constructed preseason. I thought that they were a clear potential playoff team. Not clear potential. I feel like that's an oxymoron. But the Saints were a lot better with Jameis Winston. This version of the Saints, I just can't see them doing much if they get into the postseason. I actually do think that Atlanta is going to end their season anyway. I think Atlanta will win that game.
You think Atlanta?
Yeah, I made my pick Monday for Friday. I don't even know the point spread, but yeah, I think Atlanta's going to win.
All right. Well, the Saints got a shot, so we'll see if they pull it off. So we wrap up this week. Obviously, I gained the game on Gooch. I went 10-4-1. Gooch went 9-5-1. We're going into this last game, but it's pretty apparent where we're both going with this one. I think the Steelers take it. The Steelers are home, -2. The over/under is kind of low, but the Steelers coming in 7-1, and the Boohoo Bakers of the Browns are coming in 7-8. The Steelers can ultimately end their season this year with this win tonight, end the Brown season. And unfortunately, like I said to you a million times, after that tie was going to bite the Steelers in the ass, and I don't think the Steelers make it either. Because, obviously the Bengals wrapped up that division yesterday. But I like the Steelers here in this game because Deontay Johnson is going to catch 5 touchdowns, and I'm going to win my fantasy championship. No, I'm kidding. So that's, 20.76 is what Scoop is down in order for him to take
very,
it.
very gettable.
That's very gettable. Very gettable. Browns in the under, my brother's picking. He thinks Boohoo Baker is going to go out there and shell out and try to keep that game relevant. I don't foresee that at all. I think he gets boohooed very fast. I think the Steelers defense is the reason why the Steelers are where they're at right now. You can't put the season on Big Ben. You can't say he's had the greatest season
you look
in
at
the
Big
world.
Ben's fourth quarter, then you could be like, wow, Big Ben's elite.
Yeah, but you can't look at this team and say we've been led by Big Ben the entire way.
Najee Harris,
defense
and Najee Harris and a little bit of the defense, but they've had some real issues on the back end throughout the year. But yeah, if they're getting to the quarterback, look, the Browns, I'm just not seeing the Browns going into Pittsburgh in week 17 and beating Big Ben in his last home game in Pittsburgh.
No, see, it's like the story
really all handicap away if you'd like. I'm going to just lay the 2 points here.
Yeah, me too. So I will gain a game on Gooch going into the final week, meaning I'm only down 1 going into the final week of the NFL season. What a comeback story that has been. We should write about it. We should blog about it. We should talk about it because it's a phenomenal story. It's just great. It's just I'm excited about the final week of the year. But anyway, week 18 starts officially next week. We'll start prepping for that. But I do want to thank our Patreon members for being on board with us with Chop Sports. Patreon.com/Chop Sports to get involved. 25 of you, 26 if you count Ben, 27 if you count Jay Condrick, have joined on with this. I want to thank you guys specifically for sticking with us. So if you're on this video right now, please hit the like, hit the subscribe. We've grown astronomically as a YouTube channel since Friday. We've gained like 60 plus subscriptions, and that is a hard thing to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you right now, YouTube is a pain in the ass, but we are trying our best. But the way to support Chop Sports, go buy some merch, chopsports.shop for the new hoodies. We got beanies.
And all of the Patreon subscribers, I'm making my list of
you'll get your discount codes
and discounts and all like that. So be on the lookout.
You do get those things. Whatchamacallit? It's a great way to support us, and you get some merchandise. It's just a whole bunch of cool stuff. So thank you guys for doing that. So it's been a long show. We covered the entire NFL. I think we had a lot to talk about as far as Antonio Brown is concerned. That's what took up a big chunk. Also with, the local games and stuff in general.
College football.
We touched on it all today.
We're not trying to keep it under an hour. Just so
no. We just talk. We just talk. So again, for Sturch and Gooch, and of course Dina behind the glass, we want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow with a recap of Monday Night Football. And of course, officially, we have ourselves playoff scenarios in week 18. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Beep.